Today we're talking about landing pages, and we'll cover some of the best practices that will help convert those landing pages on your website. And we'll be talking with John Turner. He is the co-founder of SeedProd, which is the most popular landing page builder as well as theme builder for WordPress. And he has over 20 years of experience in business and software development. So if you're ready, let's dive in. So John, thanks for coming on today. I'm really excited about talking about landing pages and best practices. But before we get in, can we just kind of level the playing field for everybody and maybe just discuss real quickly what is a landing page when we talk about it?
Sure. So a landing page is a page that you create that has a specific purpose. So you want them to do something specifically on this page. So it's different from, say, I mean, a home page can be a landing page, but typically a landing page is a little bit more goal oriented. And when they land on this page, they have something that they want to do, like download an ebook or watch a video or sign up for a trial. So you're trying to steer them in a certain direction. So basically, that is the difference between a landing page and, say, a home page is, again, is kind of like it's a landing page, but it's more of a gateway page. So you can go a lot of different pages. So yeah, that's kind of the difference.
I love it. So when you're looking at like the customers and stuff and they're building out these landing pages, what would you say are like the three top design best practices that you see that works really well for them?
Sure. So again, as I mentioned, the main thing is you want to define the goal for your landing page and understand what you want them to do so you can design around that. So the biggest thing is you want to remove all the distractions from a landing page. So for example, on regular website pages, you might have a navigation, a footer, sidebar, all these things you want to remove from a landing page. And essentially, you want to get down to the core of what you're trying to achieve. So pull out any distraction from the landing page, and then you want to design the landing page so it's fairly simple to understand what's going on. So you want to make it easy to read. You want to have a headline that clearly states what this landing page is about and what you're trying to offer them, essentially. And then you have your offer, which is essentially you go into deeper into what they're getting if they take this action that you're wanting them to do. And then you have the call to action, which is where they fill out the form or click the button or do the action to complete basically the goal you're trying to do. And those are the essential parts of a landing pages and the best practices. And again, typically landing pages can be fairly simple because, again, you're having one goal that you're trying to achieve and you're just trying to steer your visitor to complete that goal. So yeah.
So when we talk about call to actions, like what is a call to action and what would you say are the two most important landing page call to action best practices?
Okay, sure. So a call to action is typically a button. And when they click that button, that does the thing that you want them to do. So again, it's like sign up for a trial, download an ebook, get a coupon. I'm sure you've seen these all over the internet. It's the thing you want them to do. And when it comes to your CTA, the main thing I like to kind of tell people is you want to sell the click. So for example, say you've created a course or an ebook on how to grow your Google traffic rankings, and you make your offer and you've got a button that says learn more or sign up or even worse, submit. That's just not exciting. That's not going to make people click that button. What you want to do is have it more results oriented. So for example, you could say, yes, I want to get more traffic in 30 minutes. This is exciting. This makes people want to take action and actually click that button. So that's the main thing is you want to, sell the click, entice them to click that button. And number two is obviously you want to make that call to action stand out on the page. So you can do this in a variety of ways. And again, so say your page is mostly blues and greens color scheme. Make your call to action yellow. You want to stand out. It needs to be the visual cues should make that action stand out. So again, you can put it in a box with a shadow. You can use colors. You can use arrows. So those are some of the biggest things you want to do when you're designing your CTA is you want to draw your users' attention to that specific area on the page.
Yeah, that's awesome because when you're talking about number one, yeah, I don't get excited about hitting the submit button, but say, yes,
Yeah.
I want to get more traffic in 30 minutes. that gets me more excited. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize I didn't even put those two together. So that's a really good tip.
yeah,
So when
absolutely.
writing the copy for the landing page, what are some things that we need to keep in mind when we're writing that copy?
So the biggest thing I tell people is the headline is going to do 80% of the work. So you want to spend a lot of time crafting your headline so that you hook people in and grab their attention. And that's pretty much true with, anything. If you're creating ads or anything, this one section is going to hook people in, and then you want to, again, sell that so they're reading on and reading your offer, and the offer should tell them about the benefits and the results that they're going to get. And when you construct this offer, there's lots of different formulas out there on the internet that you can Google. But a main one's called problem, agitate, solve. So what you do is essentially you define the problem, and then you relate a lot of pain to that problem, and then you present your solution, which gives them pleasure, and that will get them to take action and click on your call to action. And then you want to reinforce your offer with testimonials, stories, your origin story, anything you can do to kind of reinforce what you're offering them. And then you want to address any objections. So put yourself in your visitor's shoes and say, okay, if I were to come to this site, what would make me not proceed? And then you want to address those. Again, things like, can I do this? Is this for me? What if I have a problem? Do I get fast results? Is there a refund policy? All those things you want to address. And you can put those in like an FAQ and stuff. So yeah, those are kind of the basics when it comes to copywriting for a landing page. Is you want to have your headline, an offer, and then your call to action.
I love that when you're saying, is there a refund policy? When I'm looking at something, that's like one of the first things I do. I look, is there a refund policy before I buy it? So that's like you're addressing those objections first, so that like
Mm-hmm.
smooths it out. And that it's funny how what you're saying is true. It really like lays the groundwork that there's no reason for me to not buy. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some SEO strategies that we need to think about when writing our landing page copy?
SEO really has not changed since the beginning of the time. Again, you want to write for people and not for search engines, but you do want to remember that you do want to rank. So you want to consider search engines there. So the biggest thing is you want to make a list of the keywords that you're trying to rank for, and you want to put those in priority. And then you want to work those into your copy on the page. So one of your more important keywords need to go in like your title, your subtitle, which are your H1, H2 tags, and then you can work the rest into your body copy, your offer. And most SEO experts recommend a keyword density around 1 to 2%, which translates around one keyword per 100 words. So that's the main thing, is you want to work those keywords into your body copy. So obviously Google knows that that's what you're trying to rank for. And then again, you want to do things like add meta tags. So add description and a title to your page, because when people Google this and they find your page, this is what's going to show up: your title and your description. And again, you want to remember here that you want to sell the click. So you want to make this catchy, draw them into that clicking on your link and coming to your page. So yeah, those are some of the main things I recommend when it comes to SEO. And again, it's kind of always a work in progress when it comes to SEO.
Yeah, it's like something you can't just set and forget. Now, a lot of times with the landing page, we'll have like some type of form on there. Either we're getting some of their information, or we're getting their credit card information or something like that. What are
Mhm.
some of the things that we want to consider when we're creating that form on that landing page?
Sure. So the main thing is you want to make it as frictionless as possible. So think about what you need from the visitor to complete the goal. Obviously, nobody wants to go to a page and fill out a 20 filled form. You want to ask for the minimal information. And if you do have a lot of information that you need, what you can do is split it up into steps. So the main thing you could do is, the first step is get the email. And then after they click that, you can present more forms. And the cool thing about that is if you do this, you have their email, and then they bail on filling out the form, you can follow up with them and entice them to come back to the form to continue to fill it out and complete that action. So yeah, again, you want to make it as easy as possible and collect as little as possible as information as you need. And if you already have that information, so say you're already on an email list and you're trying to get them to do something else, you can pre-fill their email. So all they need to do is just click a button and they're opted in because you had their email already. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, you probably see this a lot running SeedProd, but the difference between desktop and mobile is like really, really huge. Is there
Mhm.
anything different that we need to do for smartphones or mobile devices versus a landing page on a desktop?
Yeah, so there are several things you want to do. So obviously you have less real estate. So you want to make your offer more concise and you don't want to have a long sales page. Nobody's going to read that. If you do have longer content, what you could do is stick your CTA at the top or the bottom of the browser window so that as they're reading and if they want to take action, they can go ahead and click on that without having to scroll up and down the page. And then other things, you obviously want to make it readable. So adjust your font sizes so they can easily read it on a mobile device. You want to make it super fast, so kill any excess images. And if you do have images, you want to optimize those. And then a few other things you can do is you can take advantage of some of the phone's built-in options, which is kind of cool. So if you're asking for their email and they click on the email field, you can use a special field type that we have as in SeedProd. I'm sure other people have it as well. And when they click on it, their email will automatically be presented as an autofill option. So they just click on that. Yeah, so that's cool. And then if, say, you want them to call something, when you're creating a link, you can do things like add TEL colon and the phone number, and that will automatically pull up the phone's dialer. So there are a few tricks to use the phone's built-in functions to make it even easier for them to opt into whatever you're doing.
Yeah, those are cool tips to have. And then if you're thinking about e-commerce, like there's some special things that we need to consider when we're creating for e-commerce as well.
Yes. So e-commerce, obviously, this is where the action happens. This is the main goal in most websites is them checking out and getting your product, making the sale. So the biggest thing when it comes to e-commerce websites is optimizing your checkout flow. And in that checkout flow, the biggest thing is your checkout page. So this is the page where they enter their credit card information. And there's several things you want to make sure you have on this page so it converts well. Obviously, you want to have their order summary. You want to make it exactly clear what they're buying, shipping cost, the terms. You don't want any surprises presented on this page because if they think they're paying this much and they come to this page and they're paying this much, then they'll bail. The next thing you want to do is you want to make where they enter their credit card information very clear, and you want to make it look as secure as possible. So you can do this using trust badges and seals. So I'm sure you've probably seen the Norton trust badge. It's like a yellow circle with a check mark in it. That's all over the internet. But most of your payment providers like Stripe or PayPal or whoever you're using will provide these trust seals as well. So you can do things such as putting credit card logos on there. And these provide badges that say powered by Stripe or verified by PayPal. So anything you can do to add trust that people will trust you with their credit card information is a huge plus. You do not want to leave that out. And then again, you definitely want to add testimonials. You want to add testimonials from people who've gotten results. You can add testimonials from sites like G2 or Trustpilot. So anything you can do to use social proof to reinforce your message, again, is a must to do on those pages. And then finally, the biggest thing is you want to add urgency. You want to give them a reason why they should act now and not close it and come back later. And you can do this in a variety of ways. You can add countdown timers. You can give them a limited time coupon. If your stock supply is limited, there's just a variety of ways to get them to take action. So again, the biggest thing is you want them to trust you and then take action and complete the purchase. That's the main thing when it comes to e-commerce, obviously, is getting the sale. So yeah.
These are all great tips. Are there any tips that you think that we should know about that we didn't cover today?
Sure. So when you create a landing page, you can't really just set it and forget it. Like we said with the SEO stuff, you've kind of got to, keep tweaking it to make sure you're getting the results you want. And the biggest thing is if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So you always need to install some kind of analytical solution on there like Google Analytics so that you can see if what you're doing is working. And then if it's not, you always want to try new things, test new things. And Google makes a tool called Google Optimizer that will let you test new things. But the biggest things you want to test are your headline. That's probably the biggest thing. Your offer, and then your CTA. You can also test colors and those images, but typically your copy is going to produce bigger results in the test than the smaller things, unless you have a ton of traffic, and then you can test some of those smaller things and make it work.
And I'm glad that you brought this up. When you're doing, say, the optimize through Google Optimize, I assume that that's what you do. You're saying that you see the biggest lift or the biggest change from just doing the headline changes?
Yeah, because again, the headline is what is going to attract people into the page there. That's what most people will read first, and they'll make a decision right there on the spot. They like it, they'll continue to read. If not, they'll bail. So typically your copy is what is doing the selling on the page more than your colors and your design.
Oh, that's really cool. So we have to just get comfortable with making all the changes and don't be afraid to make changes as we go along with it. So
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yes.
Well, John, thanks for coming on and sharing with us the best practices for landing pages that convert.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Now, we've covered a lot in this episode, and the biggest takeaway that I want you to have is don't be afraid to test things out. Test your landing pages using Google Optimize to see if you can improve it. And just remember that every little bit of improvement will increase your ROI or your return on investment, as well as your revenue on site. So test it out and let us know how it goes.